I believe it has taken his hand for us to be alive and well today. And I'm looking forward to a fruitful and wonderful day. I don't know about you, but for me, I am speaking life into my day, and praying that God is going to go before me and that everything I have in my to-do list for today, I'm going to be able to do it and even do it with excellence, and give it my best shot, because at the end of the day, we serve a God who is, magnificent in all his ways. So the most we can do is do whatever we need to do excellently and for his glory. My name is Joanique and you are on Dawnbreak, the breakfast voice of the city, right here on 90.7 Truth FM, where truth is worth finding. And you're welcome to stream us live on www.truthfm.org. And today's Truth Worship Wednesday. And I was just thinking about worship. Worship is a conversation that we almost can just talk about it in bits and pieces. We cannot be able to exhaust the conversation about worship. And I was thinking about it, thinking about how worship is so powerful that with worship, we give God what he cannot give himself. And then he gives us what we cannot give ourselves. For me, that is like the complete purpose and meaning of worship, that we give God what he cannot give himself, and then he gives us what we cannot give ourselves. I know probably you're asking yourself, what do you mean give God what he cannot give himself? Everything belongs to him. It does. But there's a song by Angela Chibalonza that says, Uliniumba ni kuabudu. We were created so that we can worship him. God cannot worship himself. That is why you and I were created. So when we miss out on that purpose of worshiping him, that is why he says, if you don't do it, I'm going to command the stones to do it, because there has to be someone, something, anything worshiping God. And I thought to myself, what are these things that we cannot give ourselves? Everything. Literally everything. From breath to strength to health, from his grace and mercy and love and forgiveness. Literally, there's nothing that we can give ourselves. Even with all your knowledge and wisdom and your connections, yes, you can be able to find deals here and there, but imagine it is God who directs you to where these opportunities are, and for you to be able to showcase your expertise, for you to be able to actually get the opportunity and make money. But it's never it's because I'm street smart. That's why I've been able to make this money, because I'm no. It is all by his grace. Grace that has been given to you that you cannot give yourself. We can't have grace upon ourselves, no. It is God who gives us that grace. It is God who gives us his mercies, which are new every morning, by the way. They are renewed every single day. The mercy we had for yesterday is gone. We have new mercy for today. Imagine how generous this God is, that he does away with the old and he, refreshes your mercy every single day. Worship is so powerful because you can only worship God for yourself. No one can help you worship God. And worship is not about singing. It's not about the voice. It's not about, how the melody and harmony. All that is good. I mentioned the other day that, if the people of the world put in time to practice and give the best, then we should give even better to our God. For us who know the truth, we should give better to our God. But worship is such an intimate fellowship with God, because you're the only one who understands what God has done for you. I love the song by Phil Thompson that says, this is my worship, all of my worship, that you are worthy, and no one can worship God for me. No one can worship you for me. Worship is personal. You're the only one who understands what God has done for you. If right now I start saying, you should worship with your hands lifted and your eyes closed. You're supposed to have a certain posture, stand in a certain way when you're worshiping. Imagine you're the only one who understands. There are people who just get into the presence of God and they start crying. Literally, they've not even said anything. No song is being sung, nothing. They just stand in his presence and they don't even have the words. They don't even know what to say. The vocabulary is so limited, they don't even know where to start. Worship is so personal. And that is why personally, by the way, I get upset with the person who has made me late, if I'm not the one who has made everyone late, to church if we miss the praise and worship session. I know we normally, infuse some music in it just to make it flow and all that. But for me, that is a time that I cherish the most. I know the word is equally important, but this time, this moment of intimacy, you see other people laying prostrate and you're wondering, kweli huyu nini? Kweli ako na mashida? Imagine hana mashida sana. Inaweza kuwa hata hana mashida. Inaweza kuwa hata hana mashida, but it's because the way they reverence God, they feel as if they can't stand before his holy presence. They're like, how do people, I've never understood how people just pocket in church and people are, deep in worship and they're praying, others are speaking in tongues, others are, manifesting in different, gifts of the Spirit. But them, they're just standing. In fact, they're pocketing, they're at times looking at their phone occasionally. For me, I've never understood, by the way, that never. I take that moment of worship very, very important. For me, it's a very important time. It's a very crucial moment. If I miss out on connecting with God at that point, that's the time you listen to the sermon and you're wondering, nambona iwada inispiki leo? Did you prepare your heart? Because for me, if you ask me, worship is almost like you're preparing your heart to receive. You have opened up your heart. It's almost like your heart is ready to receive what God has in store for you that day. That's why even during your quiet time, I don't know how you do your quiet time, but personally I have a moment where I can maybe put some music in the background and I don't even have to pray, but I just feel like already I'm connecting. Already I feel like the atmosphere is right for me now to communicate with my Father. I can do that even without, putting music in the background. I can just decide, today I just want to get into prayer. And it works for me. I don't know what works for you. But that moment of intimacy and relation with God is very important. No one can have that for you. You can't tell the pastor to go and worship God for you. No. Worship is personal. And that is why even Kitambo, people used to go and sacrifice for themselves, because worship is personal. And for me, I would encourage every believer to carry that moment with the with the importance it has. That we should not just take it as any other moment. It's a very important moment. And worship, a simple definition of worship is that it's your complete response to the love of God. When you think about his love, when you think about his mercy, when you think about his grace, my goodness, when you think about where God has picked you from, how you respond to that becomes your worship. Others respond by giving. Others respond by lifting up their hands and giving God all these wonderful, beautiful names. Others respond by laying prostrate and they're just crying, ruining their makeup if they're ladies, that wonderful dress, that Sunday best that you were wearing. It doesn't matter at this point, because when you think about his love, it goes beyond what you're wearing. Worship is not a one-day event. Worship is a lifestyle. It's something that you do every single day. It becomes part of your routine. It becomes part of your lifestyle, your habit, your day-to-day activities. It's not just one day in church, or one, morning from 8 to 9, we have that moment. After that, tupatane next Sunday. It's a lifestyle. It's something that you do every single day. You do it even when you don't mean to do it, Worship is almost like, those moments you just sit somewhere and you're not even saying much or you're not even talking to anyone, but you just reflect. You're just thinking. You're just like, oh God, I thank you for this new job that I found. I thank you for my family. That moment of just reflecting. If you ask me, it's a moment of intimacy with God. And that intimacy, that level of intimacy with God is what I would define as worship. I stand to be corrected. If you have other definitions, please feel free to share with us so that we can learn together. The posture of worship is to bow down to high status. That was the human sign of respect and submission. And I thought about a few instances in scripture where this sign of laying down was demonstrated. And the one that came to mind first was Job. After he lost everything. Like, if there's anyone who lost, like, the definition of losing, this person lost like completely everything, from his children to his possessions to everything. But this is what Job 1 and 20 all the way to 22 says. At this, Job got up and tore his robe. He shaved his head, then fell to the ground in worship. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin in charging God with wrongdoing. Let me tell you, for you to get to a place where you've lost everything, like literally, think about everything in your life, losing all that, and still getting to a point where you wake up, you tear your robe, you shave your head, that is what they used to do, kitambo, and then you fall on your ground, on your face rather, you fall to the ground on your face in worship. And you still say, naked I came and naked I shall depart. The Lord has given, the Lord has taken away. So let his name be praised. What level of intimacy does that person have with God? What level of respect and reverence does this person have for God, for them to get to that particular point? Think about when Jesus Christ was born. This is captured in Matthew 2 and verse 11. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. This were, I believe, the Magi, if I'm not wrong, yes, that they decided, that time when they went to see baby Jesus, they couldn't help but worship this king. My question to ask this morning, I know I've said a lot, but my question to ask this morning would be, what is your posture of worship? You don't have to say it's a specific one, but what is your posture of worship? Do you do it because everyone else is doing it around you, or do you do it because you understand who God is to you? You understand that without God, you can literally do nothing. You understand that without God, I could not be standing on my 2 feet as I'm standing right now. What is your posture of worship? Think about that. Think about when it comes to giving, worshiping God with our gifts. I mean, the Magi went and gifted baby Jesus with gold. When it comes to giving, do we give God the remains? Do we give God what we can manage to give? Or do we give him the best? Because think about it, he gives us the best. Do we trade the best for, what we can manage, or do we trade the best for the best? Because he's the one who gives. He's the one who gives to us. And for us, we're just custodians. We're just custodians of what he has given to us. So when it comes to giving our resources, our time, our finances, our whatever it is, our service to God, do we give our best, or we're just giving what we can manage? We're just giving for the sake of giving, for the sake of us to be counted that we have given? Or do we give our best? Let us work on our posture of worship, because it is only you who can worship God for you.